Hello, 'tis I, Bulldog, coming to you live-ish. So, it's been an eventful couple weeks. Probably noticed I didn't have one of the experiences up the other night. That was because I was in the hospital. Yeah, I was in the hospital. Right? Oh, so, where to begin? Wednesday, not this Wednesday, the Wednesday before, I helped my buddy Chris move to his new place. So we went and had ramen afterwards. Everything was fine. And then, hey buddy, psst, 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 psst. Come here. Come on. Meow. Come on. Psst, psst, psst. Come on up. I'll pet you. I missed you. Come here. Kitty, kitty. Come on. Meow, meow, meow. Come here. Psst, 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 psst. Come on. Come on. I don't want you talking. Come on. Up. Come on. Monk. There you go. Come here. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Oh, good kitty. Lay down. Good kitty. Kitty rubs. So So I went to the hospital. Well, no, God, Jesus, way before then. So Wednesday night, I'm at home. I cracked a beer and was watching TV, and I was like, feeling kind of hungry. I ordered A&W, grandpa burger, cheese and bacon, and onion rings, root beer, and I ate that, and everything was fine until about an hour later when my stomach started hurting. I was like, oh great, indigestion, gas, what have you. It's just didn't go away. Normally gas moves through you, right? Like you feel relief in about an hour or so. This didn't go away. Come here. This didn't go away. This stayed. This stayed right in my guts. And it went from 10 o'clock till 11, till 12. 1, 2, 3. No matter how I moved, no matter how I laid, it was just pain. Pain, 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 pain. So, around 6 a.m. I puked. And it was all the contents of my stomach, the burger, all of it. It was all mush, but it wasn't going through me. And I was like, oh, this might not be good. So then I got sick, and I felt better a little bit, but it was still there. That same feeling was just like right in my gut. And then hi, mush. Then just lay there. Don't plow me. My stomach's still sore. So then I, laid in the bath, just tried to get some comfort. Like nothing was nothing. Okay, come on, buddy. I love you. Nothing was nothing, and everything was just not sitting well. Hi. Lay down. Nothing was nothing. It wasn't sitting well. And I kept puking, and I got a little bit of sleep just because of sheer exhaustion. And around 6:30 Wednesday, I got really sick. I puked up. It was just green. It was just green bile. That was it. There's nothing more, nothing less. It was just gross green bile. So and then the pain started. That was another thing. The pain was it went from uncomfort to stabby. I was like, something's not right. So I called Nina, a friend of mine. Been sort of seeing each other. Anyway. So I called her, and I was like, I'm like, there's something wrong. I think I need an ambulance. I think this is bad. So she's like, oh well, call these other doctors. I tried other doctors, and it's like I'm like the recept. So when somebody calls you at a reception, I know that that's your job to kind of be like sorting things, but when somebody's like, I'm in a lot of trouble and I'm needing help right now. Oh, it'll be an hour, sir. Whatever. I hung up and called 911. I said, I need an ambulance. They were like, well, what's the problem? Explained it to them. They were like, oh, well, doesn't sound like something too serious. I get it, we're in a plague, right? So, hey, buddy, how you doing? You floof. Oh, I missed you too, my cat. Poor little guy doesn't know what's going on. Where have you been for the past week? 2 weeks. Where have you been? Now it's time for loves. Oh, I'm sorry, bud. I'm sorry. So I called an ambulance, and they're like, well, you don't... it doesn't sound too serious. And I'm like, I can barely move, and I can barely breathe because the pain is like right up here, right where your ribs are, and it's like right here. And every time you breathe in, it feels like somebody's stabbing you in the gut. So I was like, okay. So they put me on to telehealth. I talked to a nurse there, and I explained the situation. And I said, I got high blood pressure. Oh, you got high blood pressure. You better go in. And I'm like, all right. Gonna send an ambulance? No. I was like, do you need one? I'm like, probably not. I probably can get there. Get an Uber, which I did. And I drove there, which was all right. Then I get to the hospital, and like the guy drives by. I was like, drop me off at emergency. Didn't speak the same language. It's fine, but my God, he pulls up at the lights. Oh, I was like, the emergency room, right the fuck there. So I was like, just let me out here. I'm fine. I'll walk. So I walk into emergency, and I'm hobbled over, and it hurts to breathe, and it hurts to stand straight, and it's like the most. And I'm like, I don't even understand. Like, and nobody says that because there's a lineup of people, but I'm double bent over, and I was like, they were like, do you need a nurse? I'm like, yeah, right now would be like immaculate if you could. So security goes and gets me a wheelchair. I give him my health card, which is in my wallet, and it pushes me into the thing, and then they're like, okay, name, blah blah blah. Didn't take my vitals, none of that. I was like, all right, whatever, because like, get me in as fast as you can. So they push me into like the back corner of the thing, and anyway, eventually I get called in to like the first thing where they monitored my heart, made sure my heart's good, and it was. There's no problem there. And the guy wheels me out, and he's like, okay, you're next, and he wheels me back to where I was sitting, which is by the vending machines with a wall and a TV, so I can't hear the best of times. And all of a sudden I'm sitting there, and I thought I heard my name, but no. And anyway, these nurses are running around, they're calling out for other people, and I swore I was next. And I'm like, and I tried to flag down a nurse. She's like, you're not the person I'm looking for. And okay, like, it's frustration time. Look, I get you're busy, I do. But when I say I was supposed to be next, and like what, apparently he only called my name out once, because I thought I heard it, but that was just the one time, and then that was it. And I'm sitting there in a wheelchair, couldn't walk, freezing because now I'm getting cold. I flagged down one of the cleaners. I think I was like, I need blankets or something. I'm freezing here. So I don't know if that was something too. Anyway, so I sit there. I fell asleep, whatever. For 2 hours. I was in an emergency waiting room for 2 hours. And the guy who put me there came back after, I guess, surgery or something. He's like, you're still here? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, nobody called me. I didn't hear anything. So then I've basically been there for 5 hours in emergency. And once they figured it out, they got me into the room. The doctor's like, okay, CT scan right now because it's closing in 15 minutes. Thank God they found me. Well, so why is the CT scan closing in the hospital? Like, what? Like something like this happens at 3 in the morning. You wait? God. So he gets CT scan, and he looks at me, he's like, man, there's some heavy inflammation. He poked my stomach right where my gallbladder was, and it felt like he just went like, with a knife. And I was like, oh. And he's like, yeah, there's a lot of swelling in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you some morphine and Gravol, which will settle your stomach, which was fine at this time. I wasn't puking. I wouldn't. It's like, but you're on the board for surgery. No eating, no drinking. It's like, cool. And he's like, okay, so you can sleep here and we'll get you a room for tomorrow morning. So Thursday morning. Or Friday morning at this point, because Thursday was puke day. So I slept there Thursday night. Friday morning, they get me into a place. I'm IV'd, morphine drip, saline solution. Then they started me on antibiotics. Test blood tests to make sure that my gallbladder's balanced out. So anyway, they get me in a room. And this roommate that I had he was something. He was a very special individual, let me tell you. The guy was, he had an English accent. And he's like, oh, fucking women. And I'm like, oh yeah. He kept saying things over and over. I'm like, uh-oh. And Nina, thank God for her, brought me earphones. Chris came, I gave him, so Lucifer was going to be taken care of, fed and watered, and looked after while I was in the waiting room. Nina brought me headphones and sweatpants so I could be more comfortable because I was in blue jeans and a t-shirt. So I'm sitting there and I'm just like, okay. First night I passed out. Second night, like, I'm not eating or drinking, right? So they're like, okay, well, you need to have a bowel movement, so here's some stool softeners. And I was like, there's nothing left. I was fully empty. There was not a piece of nothing in there. It was just straight ghost town effects. So the night before my surgery, it was Saturday night. I hadn't eaten anything still or drank anything. I'm just sitting there. They got me an IV, saline solution, keeping me monitored, pump, and all that. And my roommate starts laughing. Well, that was before. Oh, no, it was the laughter first. Oh, I figured it out. I was like, what are you on about? He's like, oh, the buttons. The buttons make the bed move. And I was like, oh, dear God. Yeah, whatever. It's just, I don't think it's working right. I'm like, do you need the nurse? So I buzzed the nurse, and they came in and fixed his bed and got him properly in bed. And then he starts screaming about birds flying in there, and there's no birds in the goddamn room. And then he's like on and on. It's like 3 in the morning, and this guy's talking about people there that are wanting to kill him. And he's like, I have a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I will murder whoever tries to fuck with me. I swear to God. And I'm laying there, and I look at the fucking nurse, and I'm like, I don't care if I have to go sleep in the hallway. Get me the fuck out of here. This guy's Looney Tunes. He is like, and like, I don't want to wake up. Like, the guy couldn't walk because he's complaining that somebody stole his fucking wheelchair. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, my God, if this guy loses it and like crawls, suddenly I have an old guy with a knife in his teeth staring me down, right? I was like, holy Jesus, I cannot. So they moved me. They found a room, apparently, in a really old bed. All the nurses are like, wow, that's a really old bed. I'm like, yeah, well, the new bed was in a room with an insane man, so I don't want to be a part of this. Sunday hits. And the nurse comes in. She's really excited and holds up the gown. Like, you're in. You're going, like, right now. I'm like, oh, Jesus. So, about 3:15 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock. And I kind of become hyper aware of time when stuff starts becoming like this, right? So, anyway, I get changed and put in my nightgown, and I'm sitting there, and I pull out the headphones that Nina brought, and I put on Killed by Death, Motorhead, and I played that through the whole song. And it's not that, like a surgery. It's a pretty big surgery, gallbladder removal surgery. Well, I mean, they do it all the time, right? But, shit happens. It's just, you're going under the thing. There's a whole lot of trust that goes into that, right? Like surgery, going to surgery for anything, right? Putting our faith in some other buddy's hands, right? Or our life, really, everything at that moment, right? You sit there for a minute and you're like, but so I get all dolled up. They wheel me up to the surgery, and the thing is, they get me ready, and I'm ready to go, and there's an emergency C-section, 1 floor up. So the anesthesiologist had to go and deal with that. So I'm laying in this hospital bed in a very cold and quiet hallway, and you kind of sit there and, like, Chris, one of the not my friend Chris, but one of the nurses there, Chris, and I were sat down. We talked about where I'm from and all that, and music, just to kind of kill. But there's times he had to go do stuff. So, but those are the times that I was, ow, come on, cat, don't need the claws in me. I've already been carved up enough. Yeah, just like nice talk. But anyway, he left sometimes, so I was by myself, and I'm just sitting there like by yourself. You're going to go under the knife in like an hour or whatever, 2 hour, whenever the anesthesiologist shows up, and you're sitting there by yourself, and then you start thinking about, did I do everything? Like, is there regret? Is there, dear Jesus, you're plotting, pleading? I was like, nah, man, like, I've lived a hell of a good life. I've rocked and rolled. I was, laying there. I was like, what happens if you don't wake up? Then I was like, I don't wake up. Which is funny because the same week that I went in for this thing, Norm MacDonald died, right? And you think about some of the stuff he's talked about, and it just suddenly becomes like nobody knew he was sick. Nobody knew Norm MacDonald was sick. I didn't. I had no idea. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, 10-year battle with cancer. And you're like, you didn't say a damn thing? Like, what kind of rock on, dude. But came this moment, right? And you just like, but yeah, I was like, I'm fine. Like, I know what love is. I've been loved. I felt love. I've heard the Beatles. I've ridden a Harley. I don't know what else. Really, like, when you kind of come to a point in your life where you're like, is everything all right? Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fine. So anyway, we get in there, and I'm a big guy, and they're like strapping me in and getting everything ready and all that, and they're trying to find a vein, and I'm like a little bit tense, so like my veins aren't even being shown. The anesthesiologist says, "Okay, I'm going to knock you out, but we'll put in the proper IV drop on you." It's like, okay, so I'm breathing in oxygen, and Chris says to me, "This is one of those things, right? You kind of." So yeah, he's like, "Sweet dreams, man." And I was see you on the other side. He said, "What are you going to dream about?" And I said, "Riding my Harley." And next thing I knew, I was coming to, and I went in at about 6:30, 7, and they woke me up at about 11. So the doctor said this is an hour and a half procedure, and my math might not be the best, nor my consciousness of time or what have you. But I don't think things went all that well. You're like, it's a success. He said, "It's all out and everything's gone." It's like, "Oh yeah." He said it was quite the process. We had to I had the where they four or five holes that they puff you up with air, and then they like come in and just out. The rock they took out of me was the size of an egg. Right? I was like, "How big is it?" And he went kind of like this, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And the doctor said, "I've never seen anything like that personally. That's a first. That's a first." And I'm really bruised right through here. It's a bit painful, but I looked at him afterwards. He's like, "Yeah, no, your oxygen's fine. Like your blood work's looking good. We'll do another blood test just to make sure that your everything's good." But yeah, and I said, like, you saved my life. Legitimate. I wouldn't be here right now if not for the doctors that performed that operation. And I asked if there was alternative methods to this. Do I need to go under the knife? Do I need the surgery to like pull out my gallbladder? Can I just start taking some vitamins and all that? The doctor said, yes, there are alternatives. I won't lie to you. But it's years and years and years. You have to like really watch your diet and da-da-da-da. And you know what? If I went with that, if I went with the less invasive way, she said the thing is when you have gallstones is it's done. So it's best just to get rid of the goddamn thing. So I said, okay. But the size of an egg, right? Like you go grab an egg wherever you are watching this. It's a pretty big thing to come out of you. Places where eggs should not reside. Eggs were residing, and that's just not cool. I guess it must have been pretty hectic there because they didn't. Like the one guy said, "Yeah, it's pretty big." Like I did the scan, like not the goop. Pregnant women get it done. Anyway, it's like the guy's like, "Oh yeah." So they didn't send me home, which means because like they could have easily, because I was there from Friday till Sunday, so like there's 3 days. So like they were like, "No, as soon as we get it open, we're gonna get you in there, right?" And I was like, I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. Start sitting there thinking about your mortality, especially there. I have no regrets. None. None. Didn't have any then. Don't have any now. I regret every little thing that I've ever done. No, thanks. It's almost wonderful just to like lay there and be like, "Are you happy?" "Yeah, I'm happy." Right? Would I do anything different? Probably not. Not a damn thing. It's the rush, right? People get bored. Well, all I know is I made it. That's the big thing. Unlike Norm MacDonald. Here's to you, Norm. I almost thought that. I was like, huh. I did tell the doctor, though. I said, I'll know if you fucked up if I'm sitting next to Lemmy and he's got a whiskey waiting for me. But I didn't. I listened to my doctors. Listened to the medical professionals. Ooh. How weird is that? People, this is a conversation about that. All of a sudden, doctors. What the fuck do they know? Get shots. Like, no, man. Fuck. I did my research. I don't need surgery. I could just go smoke some echinacea. That'll take care of everything. I have an immune system. My gallbladder is fine in there. God put it in there. There's no way I needed to get it taken out. Flawed bastard. Listen to the doctors. Oh. Right. Right. Right, kitty? I wouldn't be here giving you cuddles and kisses and pokes and wubs, wubs, wubs. I missed you. I really did. Thought about him. I was sad that I wouldn't see him again, if anything. Riding my bike. Not only that, today's Friday. Monday I go under the knife again, fix my hand. It's just like, it's funny. Life is funny. Everything is funny. Death is funny. It really is. You sit there and it's just like, might not wake up. Possibility. Apparently my liver bled. Oh, God. A lot of stuff happened. You don't do an hour and a half surgery. You go under at like around 6:30, 7 o'clock and wake up at 11 and think that everything was smooth sailing. Yeah, we had to do a double incision in order to pull that thing out of you. I've never seen anything so big in my life. That's a first in my career. Things you don't want to hear when you wake up from gallbladder surgery. Any surgery, really. Can you imagine that? Wake up, it's like, holy shit, you should have seen the size of that thing. My God, and I asked if I could keep it. They said they don't have it, which is somewhat disappointing, but good God, can I have like a casing of it? Just to be like, this is my gallbladder. Rock. Little people, nor you normally humans have little pebbles, stones. I have boulders. Good God. What next? Well, I'm going to heal up my hand and my stomach and all that jazz, and then I'm going to keep on doing what I do. Keep on acting. Keep on keeping on. Do this for a bit. I still like it. I still got more guests to interview and discuss cool, awesome metal things and all that jazz, right? Still want to do more Shakespeare. I want to do more like comedies and tragedies and action films, and I want to keep going, right? Just keep going, because but be happy. There was a weird moment, right? You're laying there and it's like, you might not wake up from this, because you're a big man and you're going under a major surgery. And I said, yep, but I lived an awesome life. I really have. I've been all over the world. I've been to mountaintops in Japan and seen the sunrise, and I've walked the sacred, like all sorts of, like, just being alive. I've eaten Saskatoon berries, right? No, that is like, life is, even though sometimes it can shit on you hard, it's so awesome to actually, exist and to feel love and to make love and to like be free to do such things, right? Like, your body is your own. That's the one weird thing about it, right? Thank God I live in Canada. I looked this up. This surgery is 60 or 26,000 in America. 26,000. You get it done cheap for 6. But I mean, good God. I sat in the hospital for 4 days, got a major gallstone surgery, went through drug. Thanks, come again. Glad you're out walking around. Right. Wow. What up? Hey. You want to say hi? Thank God for that. You'd be destitute. What are you gonna do? Oh, we could operate on you, but sorry, your insurance doesn't seem to cover that. That is... Where's your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness there? Life. I'd be dead. Go home. Such a thing. Good God. An egg. That big. My... Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. My immune system didn't do much for this, let me tell you. Glad medical science was able to pull that thing out of me. Get vaccinated. Fuck, whatever. Dear God. Hey, buddy. Never really processed that. Like, Norm's gone. I listened to him a lot while I was laying in hospital bed. And, what a funny guy. What a brilliant guy. Oh, I'm funny too, god damn it. Hope you had some chuckles along the way with me here. Oh. I didn't think I was gonna live, but then the doctors made sure that I lived. That's fucked. That's fucked up. You lay there and you're like, oh, non-existente. Yeah, it made your liver bleed a little. Uh-oh. Your liver was big. Everything in you is big. Like, thank you, doctors. That's the biggest thing, man. Doctors over there at that hospital, like, fuck me. I'm gonna buy you all beers or wine or whatever. I see you ever, I mean... I was dead. I was gonna die. I would have died. It's the size of an egg. An egg. You don't hear that, normal people. What happened to his gallbladder got, was big. Had a couple stones in it. A caused him a little bit of trouble. What happened to him? It was an egg. An egg. E-double-G, egg. Right there. Eggs don't belong there unless they're scrambled or fried. Not rock-sized. Not made out of rock. I mean, really, I don't have much more to say tonight. Biggest thing is, call your folks, tell them you love them, hold someone close, because, it's nice. It's nice to feel, nice to be felt. Big thanks to the doctors that made sure I was taken care of. Nina for feeding me and making sure I was, my recovery was nice, which it is. Chris and Amanda for making sure that Lucifer is good. And, love you, Mom and Dad, and my brothers. That's pretty well it. Oh, wait, I love you too. Thank you for sitting here and listening to me ramble on for 40 minutes-ish, give or take. It's just nice to, kind of put things together, maybe think a bit more on it. It's not quite a feat of, you sit there and realize that your mortality is just this thing. Listen to your doctors. They know more than you, no matter what you think. Although I did Google it right away. I was on the, yeah, we're going to do this? Perfect. She's like, oh, yeah, you're good with that? I said, yes. How many? That was another thing. Doctor's like, you have any questions? I was like, yeah, you've done this before, right? He's like, yeah, a couple of times. I'm like, good. Just checking. Sometimes there's that skill testing question, though. God damn it. Was that me cursing myself? That might have been. Holy fuck. We done this before, right? Yeah, not like me, motherfucker. Bulldog's 1 in a million. 1 in a billion. Certainly am. Right, bud? Well, folks, my cup's almost empty. Didn't touch the bowl. I don't feel like coughing my stitches out, which is, I think that could happen. So, no smoky for now. Eventually back to it. I had 2 or 3 weeks. It's like a 2-week heel pan, so I'm looking forward to that. When next we meet, my hand will be in the casing. And we'll hopefully have a wonderful guest. And we can sit down and once more talk about music and art and acting and life, magic, psychedelia. Okay, Bomb. All right, so to you all, Skål. Good night from me and Lucifer. And I hope and pray to whatever gods will listen that I will see you again someday.